appropriateness for this job that they thought I was doing it right.
Norman.
Right.
But that was 20 years ago.
22.
A long time for someone to harbor revenge. Aren't you the least bitter about what Lila Loomis tried to do to you?
I understand. My cure couldn't cure the hurt I caused. My return to sanity didn't return the dead. There's no way to make up that loss. The past is never really past. It stays with me all the time. And no matter how hard I try, I can't really escape.
But you worked with another man who thought very highly of you, who, again, did the same thing that you did in Psycho 3. He acted in it, he starred in it, it's his vehicle, and he directed it. And that was Orson Welles.
But his knowledge, his technical knowledge of editing and cutting and camera movements was consummate. He knew most of it. He knew almost all of it, and he hadn't forgotten it from the days in which he was making films more frequently than he did when we made The Trial.
When you played Joseph K. in that film, what was your sense of Welles?
Well, we spent 16 hours together every day, 7 days a week. We got up in our respective hotel suites and met for breakfast and drove to the set together with my car following empty just behind. We spent the day together on the set. We walked off and had lunch together at a little restaurant nearby. We spent the afternoon together. We had dinner together, and then we went out nightclubbing and drinking, him, not me, until the wee hours of the morning. So there was a synthesis of people there that was very, very strong, much stronger than the movie. I think the movie is a bit of a mess.
Really? Did Welles also share that thought, or were you too thick into the production for him to think about how it would cut together?
I don't know what went on in his head, but the concept of a guilty Joseph K., a sort of obsequious and weak hero, seemed very antithetical to the spirit of Kafka's book and to the other dramatizations of it that had been done by, most principally by Jean-Louis Barrault in the French theater. After a couple of days of shooting, I mentioned to Orson, I said, you know, don't you think it's maybe going to be interpreted that Joseph K. is guilty? He said he is guilty. He's guilty as hell. And I thought, well, okay. And as now, I believe in the authenticity of the director's vision, and I will do anything to make it come true.
You came here this evening for a specific reason?
Yes, I came here to tell you that I'm dispensing with your services.
We mustn't be in too much of a hurry.
I know you've done everything you can for me, and I appreciate it, but I'm afraid that more energetic steps are going to have to be taken.
That's a plan we can discuss.
It's not a plan, it's a fact. How many times have I come here, and what have you done for me? Nothing.
How many of my clients have reached the same point in their cases as you and stood here before me saying exactly the same things?
Maybe they had a reason to. They were probably all just as much in the right as I am.
Your dad was a major matinee idol in this country. And he did films, he did silent films, worked on the stage.
Films, yeah.
But from what I've read, you really don't remember him.
No, I don't have a strong memory of him. He was marvelous in a couple of films, which really do live on. For the time, his style of acting was quite advanced, quite modern. He has a good role in the Paul Muni Scarface,
yes.
And he's marvelous in that. He really is. It's inspiring to see him.
Years ago, you wrote that you knew that your dad, that everybody loved your dad, and they would talk about Osgood with such
that was
affection,
a tough one.
And that, you know, in a way, that was a resistance for you and it sort of distanced you. But eventually it sounded to me like that was one of the reasons why you decided to do this or to embrace acting as a profession.
I embraced acting as a profession because he had a lot of scripts left over in our apartment when I was growing up, when I was 10, 11, and 12, and I would read these scripts and read the dialogue out loud, and it didn't seem that difficult to make sense out of spoken dialogue. It seemed you could read both parts, or either part, or one part instead of another. And it was easy for me to make sense out of a line of dialogue. You know, it sounds like an easy thing to do, and for many actors it is, but many other actors have a tremendous amount of difficulty. They do finally get it right, especially theater actors, but dialogue on the page doesn't look right to certain people. For me, it isn't difficult.
Yeah. What do you think the toughest thing about acting is?
Trying to realize that it's something that really can't be defined. You can't put a dictionary definition on acting. And the more people try, the more confusing it gets. You know, there are so many schools of acting and so many books written about acting and so many theories about acting and so many ways of teaching acting. It's all a little confusing.
In 1974, you did a film with Sidney Lumet called Murder on the Orient Express. That was a great ensemble piece. Very often, these ensemble pieces end up not working out very well. This one worked very well indeed.
I think one of the reasons that film worked so well is that Sidney Lumet wisely and brilliantly disdained to become interested and involved in the actors' personal gripes with each other and with the script. He wouldn't even listen to it. He said, look, I'm far too busy, work it out, to go to lunch, have a drink, take 5, and he just went ahead and did his film the way he saw it, that he wanted to do. This is very, very difficult for some directors to do. They adopt the role of father confessor and a fixer of all things. And if Sidney on the first day had gotten involved in the personality conflicts that were imminent in that picture, I think it would have wrecked it. And he wasn't interested. He had a huge production which was going to be difficult to mount at best, and he just said, forget it.
It sounds to me like he ended up instituting a policy that sort of protected himself and maybe made sure that the film was going to get done and was going to get finished.
He gave himself that policy so that the actors would have to fend for themselves, and they did.
Seems like I'm kind of incriminating myself.
I should be more inclined to suspect you, Mr. McQueen, if you displayed an inordinate sorrow at your employer's decease.
Sorrow? My dad, my father, was the district attorney, yeah, who handled the Armstrong case. Mrs. Armstrong and her husband came to our house twice for advice about the ransom money. She was gentle and frightened, but not too frightened to take an interest in a young man who wanted to go on the stage. She even said she'd write to. She died before she got around to that. She was as helpful to me as, well, a mother.
What do you think has been the best advice that you've ever gotten, if I may ask, over all of these years?
It seems to me that people have been trying to give me advice ever since I started in show business, and I don't think as a young actor I paid much attention to it, and as a middle-aged actor I figured I was too smart to need it. So I think I've probably been pretty cavalier about the advice that I've gotten. I should have listened to more of it.
Yeah. What has been the most satisfying thing for you in the business, do you think? The thing that's given you the most pleasure in all these years of acting and working with all the people who you...
The fact that I'm still here. You know, there are an awful lot of actors in the 50s that just disappeared. By the 60s, they were already forgotten. And the fact that I'm still working, still alive, and still productive means more to me than anything.